Hello, this is the video to accompany the sound substitution sheet for the German dialect for Cabaret. So at the top of this video, I'm just going to give a couple little tips and tricks, and then just go through each and every sound substitution and give you examples of what they sound like so you can practice at home while you're memorizing your lines. So the first thing I have here is this note on mouth posture change. And there's kind of a stereotype that the German dialect is in the throat, but that's actually not true. There's a couple of sounds that sound like they're coming from the throat, but for the most part, it's actually right behind the bottom front teeth. It's all very in the front of the mouth. Another way you can kind of train your brain to imagine this is if you take your two fingers and you put them at the corners of your mouth, and then you only use the muscles that you can doing this, and you kind of talk like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then take away your fingers, and then keep trying to talk like that. And it's all very in the front and very kind of a little bit stiff. There was another note I was going to give about the German dialect, is that especially the time period that Cabaret is in, they would be learning their English from English people. So really make sure to bring out all of your consonants and tap your T's and all of your ending consonants. Remember that at the end of the day, like, these people are not speaking their native language, so there's some parts of the dialect that can come and go, and it might not be as consistent as like a dialect like the southern United States dialect, where they speak that way because they speak that way. It's like, no, they have this dialect because they're not speaking the words that they're used to speaking. So it can just have some variability. And with that, let's get into the sound substitutions. So the first one, like I said, they would be learning English from English people. So partly because of that, R is dropped in the same words that they'd be dropped in a British accent, like in the word hard. It would be hard. The example sentence: neither the orchestra nor the organ were heard on Friday. So if you hear neither, you're not saying neither. This next sound substitution is the uvular R. So that's that sound that sounds like it's really in the far back of your throat. So it's not a front of your mouth trill like rrrr. It's using your uvula, so it's a back of the mouth like trill right up in but most times you don't have to trill, you can just hit it, the one time. So if you can't fully find where that is in your mouth, I would urge you to try this exercise, which I'll do it right here with you. Get some water, and you're gonna gurgle it. And now swallow it, or get rid of the water in whatever way. And try to remember exactly what muscles were vibrating to make that noise. I would also urge you to practice it and get really comfortable with it, so that way you can start putting it in words instead of just doing that out of context. So try saying A-R-A, ara, 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 and just do that until you feel really comfortable. Ara, 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 ara. And don't worry if you're not getting it right away. If it's something you've never done before, it can feel really weird. It might not be something that you get immediately. And I can work with you too if you need extra help on it. But don't stress out about it. You will get it eventually. But the example sentence for this is: Heinrich rushed around the rose bush. Now on to vowels. First vowel substitution is saying that your sounds in words that are like a or um, go to a more broad and open ah sound, ah. This one is crucial for some words, but you'll hear me say that the rule of if it sounds wrong, it probably is wrong. Or not necessarily wrong, but if it sounds wrong or if it creates another word than the one that you're saying, nix it. Don't use it. Um, and that's part of my job, is to listen to which ones do sound wrong or which ones would benefit from certain sounds being changed. So the example sentence: it was bad propaganda to laugh at the ant. And you don't have to go all the way with this. None of them I'm going bad propaganda. Like, it's somewhere in the middle. They're just getting deeper and broader, these vowels. So the next sound substitution are, I say, diphthongs A and O, but it's really just like any diphthong becomes kind of shorter in a way. It becomes a monophthong. So the note I say that is because since consonants are heavier in the German dialect, the vowels tend to be shorter. Now, obviously, you're on stage, so don't clip any vowels from existence, but find that balance. So instead of 8, like we would say the word 8, it's 8. So the example sentence is: meine aged old goat eats oats at the gate. See, they're all just a little shorter, but you can still hear the word. The first consonant sound substitution is the ST noise, so just st. When it appears in a word, S and then T, it's no longer st, it's sht. So instead of stop, it's stop. Street, strudel, stump, stage. So the example sentence, which is actually my favorite example sentence on this list, I think it really captures that the placement of the German dialect that is really far forward. I think this is a great sentence to practice that placement with. But that sentence is: we should not steal the statue from the stage. We should not steal the statue from the stage. The next sound substitution is exactly the same rule, except for instead of a T, it's a P. Anytime in a word, I should say it's at the beginning of words. Anytime at the beginning of words, if an S is followed by a P, it doesn't make a sp, it makes a shp sound. This one is a little bit, this one has the potential to lose a little bit of clarity. Pretty much every ST word you can do that and still know what the word is you're saying. This one, sometimes it makes it a little bit muddier, so just be aware. And if it's really hard to say, or if it doesn't sound right, then just say sp instead of shp. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So the example sentence is: the specialist made the room spick und span. The next sound substitution is the sound j, like jump, from j to ch, just like ch sound. And this sound substitution occurs in the beginning, middle, and end of words. So instead of German, it becomes German, German. Instead of jerk, jerk, jerk. You'll notice that a lot of these sound substitutions just take the consonant that we know and turn it like a little bit harsher. So the example sentence is: the agent brought charges against Jane and George. This next sound substitution is one of the most recognizable stereotypical German sound substitutions, and that is changing W sounds to V sounds. So a word like word turns to word. Word. Which, welcome, switch, forward. The example sentence is the witch's whistle will always keep you awake. The next sound substitution is the voiced TH sound. So, voiced is voiceless is so the voiced sound turns to a Z noise. There's a lot of variables with this one. Some German dialects replace the sound with a Z, and some replace it with a D. Both are 100% correct. Here's my thesis statement. Both substitutions 2Z or 2D are correct. But my preference is to make all of them Z's, and only if there's too many in a row, switch some of the times that TH appears in the middle of a word into a D, as in Vater und Mutter. Example sentence. The other fathers und mothers were there. You see how that kind of sounds cartoony and maybe a little odd. You can switch it up and do the other fathers und mothers were there. And it's a very light D. It's not, duh, 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 duh. It's very far forward. Da, 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 da. Fathers and mothers. Moving on to sound substitution number 10. This is the voiceless TH sound. So turn all those into T's. And this one has the same rule of if it sounds wrong or if it creates a different word, don't do it. In words like taught or thank you. You're not going to assume that that's a different word. Not in words like true, youthful, or mit. Those don't sound right. So the example sentence is, we should thank both the North und South theaters. We should thank both the North und South theaters. And that's going hardcore on every single one of them. If sometimes your voiceless TH sound comes through, that's fine. Especially at the ends of word, both, that's fine. The next sound substitution is changing V's to F's. So in the exact same way that we change our W's to V's, as it's written, if there's a V in a word, it turns to an F. V and F sounds are very similar, but F is just kind of the harsher version of it. So the example sentence is, the violin music was very vivid. Number 12. There's 4 consonants that when at the end of a words, they will take the form of a harsher sounding consonant. Another way to think of it is just making these sounds heavier. B's at the end of words will turn to P's. D's at the end of words will turn to T's. G's to K's, and Z's to S's. Example words I put in here are knob becomes nop. Bread becomes Brett, or the German word is Brot. Dog becomes Dock. Was becomes was. And then an extra word I put in here is exactly, has 2 of those sounds in it, turns to exactly. So the example sentence is, Bob was mad because the crazy pig got lost in the fog. In my brain, I'm not thinking about the consonants it's turning into. I'm just saying, just say be harsher. Bob was mad because the crazy pig got lost in the fog. So on to what I've called bonus sounds. They're not truly bonus. They're not like extra credit. They are, if your brain is already on fire learning the rest of them, focused on the rest of them, And then if there are certain words that come up that I hear that need these, I will tell you to make those changes. And I want you to be wary of them for clarity's sake, as in these can also kind of muddy up your language where they don't need to be on every word they apply to. But some words will sound like they're missing something if they don't have them. So, for example, the first one is the terminal sound. And this one is kind of left over from the German language. So in the German language, they have lots of sounds that end with, or lots of words that end with E, and they will sound that E. So words like heiße, mache, liebe, they have that extra at the end. And so words in English that have those sounds those E's at the end, we don't say them, but a German person might, because in their language they would. The Parade was stopped because the machine broke down. Like, it doesn't sound good to have machine and broke. Both have that noise. So I would say that if you would do any of them, do machine and do Parade. You don't need to do stopped, but I'm just including it as an option. Number 14 is a very specific one. So it's just saying that sounds, the Germans will pronounce them as er. So it's for mostly two words, Hermann and also Herr, which is Mr. in German, or man. Yeah, it's not hey Hermann. It would be Herr Hermann. Herr Hermann. I'm basically including this for those two words. There might be another one. And then the last one is, so in some words, instead of saying s, you'd say z. My note is that do not overdo this one or you will lose clarity and sound French. Since we already have a lot of the Z sounds from our THs, I don't think it's necessary to have all of our S's become Z's as well. Unsuitable or suitable, or also instead of also. This is one where, again, if there's other words that make sense to use it, we can add it in, but definitely don't change all of your S's to Z's. That's basically everything. I put my contact information there at the end of the sound substitution sheet. Reach out to me if you have any questions or need any clarity on anything, and I will be in touch soon about meeting up or just doing Zoom meetings to kind of work one-on-one before rehearsals start, definitely. Okay, that's all I have. Oh, auf Wiedersehen.